A warm welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe. Today I'm going to show you why I think you're going to need a wheel acid and why a wheel acid I think comes in handy even over a fallout remover. A video we did recently, we used the Bilt Hamber AutoWheels to clean some pretty dirty alloys that were coated, and they just peeled off the dirt and it came off really easy. In today's video I'm going to show you what happens when you use them on a really this is not maintained and this is like really baked on. I don't know how long that is, how much worth of dirt that is, but it's a lot, and it's baked on. It's like a paint system. It almost protects it itself. So what I've done is I've whipped both alloy wheels off of my car. I want to see as well if I can clean and coat a full set of alloy wheels that are in that minging state in around an hour. So I've double jacked, whipped off two wheels off one side, out here, bang, clean them, coat them, put them back on the car to dry because it's going to be hot today. Then do the other two and hopefully be done in less than an hour. I think it's probably going to take me closer than two. So the first thing we're going to do, guys, is we could pressure wash and pre-wash off that alloy wheel, but when it's that baked on, I'm going to need to scrub the hell out of them, so they're not maintained. I'm also thinking that with this Golf alloy, that having a coating on it will actually make my life a little bit easier when they're not well maintained. And I've got half a bottle of coating that if I don't use it, the G-on rim, you know, if I don't use it, it will go off. So I figure just get it on the alloy wheel. Anyway, first thing we're going to do is see how well this AutoWheels, sorry about the flashing, can tackle that dirt. And I don't think it's going to be able to clean it. I think there's a limit to what non-acidic, even fallout remover or alkaline wheel cleaners can do, and that alloy might be beyond it. But I think it'll have a good go, so let's just find out. Yeah, so we spray it on. We want to get it all nice and, we want to get the surface all nice and wet with the fallout remover. This trigger's probably not the best. It might be a bit end of lifey now because I'm coming towards the end of the bottle. There we go. Yeah, so that's all sort of wetted out. I've not got much left in here, but I think I've got enough to do all four alloys, probably with less than 200 ml in here. And in here I've got no chemical, just water. So we know this stuff reacts quickly, but the problem is it's only going to react with all the stuff on the surface, maybe. How well is it going to penetrate in there and really get at all that? Just going to leave it a little bit longer. But all the time we're scrubbing it, it will carry on working as well. We are in hot conditions as well, so I also think we don't want to loiter around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down here and we'll get a good view of what we're doing. Hopefully, yeah. I'm not going to wobble around. So there we go. I'll tilt it over so you can see a little bit more about what we're doing. Let's get this barrel clean while the chemical is still wet. So you can see it's, oh yeah, it's going to make some mess. Probably better off doing this on the floor, but I need to demo it to you. So I'm using this one because it's just got a stiff handle and it just allows me to scrub a bit more. I can see, I mean, it's cleared the inner stuff, but the area that sits adjacent to the oh, I'll show you at the end. The area that sits adjacent to the brake disc is still plastered, and that's where I think we're going to need the acid. We'll just go through those spokes. Right, we'll switch brushes to this Elaster brush, which is a really aggressive brush. and I'm just not quite able. Oh, it's getting there. My hands are aching already. But what I can tell you is, for the job that I need to do on these alloys, they're so far gone that the fallout remover / wheel cleaner still isn't quite strong enough. So what I'm going to do is just rinse this off to show you where I am. Now, yes, you can keep going and you could go again, but the problem is it becomes not time efficient to just keep going with a chemical that's not aggressive enough. Need to do the fronts as well, don't I? So just put this back round, bring you in. So there's a huge difference, isn't there, between alloys that are well maintained and not well maintained. So the number one thing is, really, if you want to keep your alloys nice, you've got to really keep them clean, and if you don't, this is what you get. And then the amount of work to get them back, it's almost worth just taking them to a wheel specialist, have them acid dipped and refurbished, and then try and look after them again. So if you don't keep on top of it, it's game over. So just the level of that bonded brake dust is just too high. Like I say, we could go again. The brush, the Elasta brush, you really need the most aggressive brush. Steel isn't really going to touch that. You'd be scrubbing for hours. So we're not there. So if we just blow this off, so we're back to some clean dry. Just now what we got here is this old version, I think, of AutoWheels, which is a strong acid. And it's a product that if you misuse it, it isn't always appropriate. So I wouldn't need to use it on this car. You know, on bare metal, it's going to cause corrosion on calipers and stuff like that. But for deep cleaning, it's really good. And that's probably all I'll need to do 4 alloys, really, although actually that might be a bit optimistic. So if we just get this on here. It's probably realistic. As long as you wet it all out. But it is strong stuff. You want to sort of avoid honking it in if you can as well. Now I'm hoping that just with a little bit of dwell, excuse me, that will start doing its thing. Yeah, so there you can see the difference, guys. That is why you'll always need a wheel cleaning acid. But even this product, even this, well, it is all coming off. Yeah, I mean, it is coming off. So if I just worked one area like here, and this, I'd have to keep going. This Elasta is about as aggressive as it gets, but I'm almost wanting an even more aggressive brush. See, it's all where it's all baked in there. And all in there. Sorry, it's a bit awkward to get in there. It is coming off though. It's that contact now, it's just shifting it. But you get the idea. So If I just rinse that little section off. We're getting there. Now all that black stuff, I mean, it will eventually come off, but it's going to be a nightmare. Once it starts bubbling and you get black in the bubbles, you've lost it. It's like the rust has got into the paint system and it's lifted it out. And at that point, you're knocking on refurb's door, as Bob Dylan once said. But it's a really good example, isn't it? It's like different tierings of chemical products in terms of power. So when you're cleaning coated alloy wheels, and if you clean your car once a week, you could almost foam them out with shampoo and get in there with a microfiber brush and just keep on top of it if there's a coating there. If you drive your car like and do a lot of miles on it and you don't clean it for 2 weeks, you might need to step up and use a more aggressive alkaline kind of wheel cleaner, foaming wheel cleaner, and maybe a EZ brush because it's got a bit more bite. If you, for example, have a set of alloy wheels which you look after your car, but for whatever reason you haven't cleaned your car for 2 months and it's really baked on, you might step up to something like Bilt Hamber AutoWheels with the EZ brush, and a good soak on that will really get a lot of that dirt off. If you haven't cleaned your alloy wheels for 6 months and they're not protected and it's all like baked on, you know, you're going to need a wheel acid, and you're probably going to need to take the wheel off and scrub the hell out of it. Moral of this story is don't leave your alloy wheels for 6 months without cleaning them, or 3 months, or whatever it is, because you get to that stage where it's a pig to clean them. They're never going to get back that clean. They're going to get reasonably clean, and I will stick that coating on. And the other moral of this story is, if you care about the alloy wheels and you've got some coating kicking around or whatever, half a bottle, just get the coating on there, get them off, get them cleaned, get the coating on, and then try and keep on top of them. Yeah, it's weird. Or you could just take the approach with a car like that, to take it down the car wash. You typically, if you go down the hand car wash, you don't see them tend to use fallout removers. They'll tend to use a wheel acid. You know, it will go on at the start as the car pulls in, and they'll leave it sitting there while they maybe start on the body and then come back and get it. And they'll do a reasonable job, but the problem is then all your brake calipers and stuff light up and your brake discs will corrode and the hubs will corrode from the acid. So yeah, if you can target the acid on the wheel, it's better. But we just showed there the difference, and this is a really good wheel acid. Someone said they've weakened it off slightly with a new formulation. I always thought this was a fantastic product, but it's something that you shouldn't really need. You know, and can you get a trade one that is just as aggressive? I'm sure there is, that's a bit cheaper. But for me, I've always had this, like literally for the last 25 years. I think as a kid, I used to just use this. Didn't really know that it was some super strong acid or what the difference was, and just used it and thought it was good. And then over time realised that it's a really strong acid. And as you get more into your detailing chemicals, in your processes and stuff, you realise that you shouldn't really be using that every week. But it's a really effective product. We've just shown why, because of that acidic cleaning power, very strong. So there you go, guys. I will put the camera down now and get the rest of the alloy wheel done, and I hope that video was useful. How do you do it? What wheel acid do you use if you ever need an acid? And what is it? And I might try one of those 5 litre trade ones, because if you find a good one, you know, it doesn't. I want a strong one. I want a strong, nasty one, because I want it to be nasty to deal with that situation quickly, so that I haven't got to keep going and scrubbing and scrubbing. So there's always a place for this. That's the point. But hopefully after I've used that, I'll be back to milder chemicals and just keeping on top of it. Over and out.